Amos was a prophet who preached of Israel's destruction by the Assyrians. God gave Amos two sets of visions. The first set takes place prior to chapter 7 in our lesson, and the second takes place after our lesson, after chapter 7. Israel was in a time of peace, moving away from God. Faith-based worship was being replaced with meaningless rituals. The rich and controlling facet of society got richer by abusing and oppressing the poor. Sounds a little familiar as the gap between the rich and poor grows wider each year in this nation, and as less than 3 out of every 10 Americans born after 1981 attend church weekly. Amaziah was the priest of Bethel. Now, Bethel was the center of religious and cultural life in the northern kingdom of Israel, and Amaziah was the priest who supervised the temple of that kingdom. There's no record that Amaziah's response to Amos's prophecy occurred anytime before his prophecy turned against King Jeroboam. Like alternative facts, Amaziah reports to the king in an inaccurate way. He accuses Amos of a conspiracy against the king, raising support from within Israel itself. Now, there's no evidence of this conspiracy. Speaking the truth to power draws critics from those who are threatened by that truth. In classic rhetorical style, Amaziah attacks the personages of Amos, referring to him as a professional prophet. That is like calling him a modern-day psychic. Remember, this is not the king speaking to Amos. It's Amaziah, the priest, who is now threatened by the words of Amos, so threatened that he asserts to Amos, "This is my place, get out." We have two religious men arguing with each other. As a lawyer, I have represented churches when they were in the throes of dividing. I can tell you those cases were vicious. Here we have a priest aligned with the king, threatened by this newcomer, a prophet without training, coming into his kingdom, making these remarks, threatening his power. So, understandably, Amaziah tells Amos, "Get out. This is my place. This is my house." But remember, the words of Amos are coming from God, and he is speaking about the church that belongs to God. As we sometimes have disputes over issues in our churches, we must always stay focused on the fact that this is God's house and not our house. Amos defends himself, saying that he was a shepherd and a tree farmer, a position that is considered at the bottom of the social ladder in Israel at that time. But Amos says, "I was there, and then I was called by God, not man." Likewise, the calling to the ministry of every Christian comes from God. God gives us certain talents and passions, and then he commissions us to benefit his kingdom by using them. Our education can certainly enhance our ability, but nothing will replace the commission from God. Amaziah was more experienced and more powerful than Amos, but Amos did not cower to his demands to leave. He did God's work, and he did it in the face of a powerful opposition. Using Amaziah's own words, Amos says, "Listen, you will regret your actions. You'll regret these words, that the people you lead will suffer because of your words and your shortcomings. As leaders, we have a responsibility to lead our people in a path towards God, in a path of righteousness. And when we depart from that path, we threaten the very future of the people that we are commissioned to lead. We hurt them. This lesson places on us as leaders a heavy burden to not be fearful, to speak truth to power, even though we may be facing foes that are far more powerful, far more experienced than us. It says to those of us who have taken on the mantle of leadership in our churches, in our communities, in our families, in our profession, it says that we are always challenged to always speak truth to power and to walk in God's way. That's the lesson for this week. You guys have a great week. Bye.
I watched a blind man lift his head.